great pleasure to introduce our big keynote speaker, friend from Europe. He's here to tell us why we have to do this. Tomas, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. We have a super enthusiastic Magnus. I'm so happy that he puts together a pan-Nordic event where we're going to build a commercial space sector together. And that's the reason why I'm here, because we have an initiative at European level called CASSINI, where we're trying to do the same thing. So it shouldn't be a problem to collaborate with everybody here. Okay, I have a few slides to show you a bit what we have accomplished after 4 years of running CASSINI. Can we turn on the slides with this one? Oh, there we go. So it's, we have a pretty simple mission. What we want to do is to help all the new space companies to grow. They need commercial growth, not grants. They need to find customers. They need to generate revenue. And we want to enable private investment to go to these companies. So if we scroll back to 2019, we had a few companies making progress, but almost none of those could raise private investment. Space was still seen as a rather risky area. We didn't have any private investment funds that were ready to focus on space investments. And now, 5 years later, we actually have quite a good number of private investment firms focusing on space. And we have more than 300 companies that are growing steadily. So you can see why this cannot be run as an institutional program. It cannot be run like Horizon Europe with a lot of procedures and stuff like that. We need to listen to the entrepreneurs and speak the same language as the entrepreneurs, right? Here are a few examples of how varied the field is. I'm not talking data analysis and digital services here. You can see some companies are developing, for example, propulsion systems for satellites and for rockets. Another one is developing a way to manufacture in space, right? So instead of carrying the equipment up to space, is it possible to create 3D printers that work in space, right? So you can build the stuff when you're already in orbit. It saves a lot of money and mass and so on. And we have a company here that has found a way to use navigation via satellites to paint lines much better. Great thing for Florida, for example. Lots of asphalt, lots of golf carts, right? Here's just to give you an example of all the upstream companies that are doing like space technology and operations in space, and all the downstream companies. We have worked with all of these. Either they have been to matchmaking events, or they have been part of CASSINI Business Accelerator. You can see Pangea, ISAR Aerospace builds rockets. The exploration company is a space cargo company that has just raised a huge amount of money to develop ways to transport things up to orbit or transport things down back to Earth. What else? D-Cubed has an office in the United States now. Satlantis is a satellite operator. I think with optical images. What else can we mention here? Lookup Space is for space traffic management. They are building a huge radar on the ground in France, so they can see all the objects that are flying around Earth. Aerospace Lab is doing a bit of everything. They're designing satellites, manufacturing satellites, operating satellites, selling data and selling services. Okay, so you see, it's rather ambitious. Who else? Liveo, very good company that analyzes a lot of different data and sells it as digital services. And they are rapidly increasing their sales. They've already passed 5 million euros on commercial revenue per year. That's fantastic. I mean, I spoke to them in 2019 when they were aiming for 1 million euros. Now they are past 5 million. Aurora Technologies, they do thermal infrared sensing to see where there are forest fires and detect the forest fires very early to give an early warning to authorities or forest owners. So during the 13 matchmaking events we held last year with CASSINI, we had 138 participating companies and quite a lot of investors, at least 40 investors. In total, over 3 years, we've had more than 300 companies. We have a special event here that attracts a very good crowd. The networking is excellent. We have a lot of fun, which is an important ingredient in all of this. This year's matchmaking events looks a bit like this. We try to cover all parts of Europe, as many countries as we can. We will be in Copenhagen for the EBAN annual congress. That will be a great event. We will bring something like 20 space companies there, some of the best actually. What else? CASSINI Entrepreneurship Days will be beginning of October, if you're interested in the best event in Prague. And there will be beer and wine, right? Okay, so this is Prague. We've also started CASSINI Business Accelerator because we needed a support program for the growth stages, okay? It's not an early stage incubator. This is really to help companies to see how they're going to target the right markets, how they will build up their marketing team, a sales team, and then execute so they can reach 2 million euros, 5 million euros, 10 million euros, and the companies are actually generating that much revenue. Oh, I see the figures are not really visible here, but 1 year after batch 1 became alumni, they had a growth of 500% in customer revenue. So that's very good. Slides look a bit weird. It's the PDF generator. So you can see here that we're focusing entirely on assisting the companies with their go-to-market plans and see how can they accelerate all the activities that lead to signing up new customers and generating revenue. This must be the focus. The Americans are very good at this. We need to be as good in Europe. I think we can. The next thing that we needed to put in place is a series of different venture capital funds. So each company should have different people to talk to. Not everyone will not get investment from one single fund. You need to have at least 15. Now we have channeled capital to 15 funds. So each one of them have received between 10 million euros and 60 million euros. So this is money we have channeled from the EU budget via European Investment Fund. EIF has assessed and selected the funds. Right? But in addition to these 15, we have another 15 or so that have already invested in one or several space companies. So with 30 venture capital funds, we are now in a situation where it's possible to raise serious capital. Next thing on our to-do list is to provide support for growth funds. So these are best suited to do seed investment, Series A investment, but they don't really have the muscles to do Series B and C and D. And that's what we need to do in the next years. Help create these much larger funds that can select the best among the best and make investments between 10 million and 100 million euros. Finally, we have managed to create a link to the stock markets. So in a collaboration between Commission, Euronext, ESA and Promus Ventures, we have created a space stock index with European space-related companies. I think that's pretty cool. Who would have thought? We launched this 2 years ago. You can just go to this page and check out which companies are included. If some of the startup companies start growing seriously and they get listed on a stock exchange, we can change the selection of companies in the future to reflect the emergence of the scale-ups. Right? I think that could be an excellent way to create kind of a track to make it easier to understand what it takes to make an IPO. Not only on Euronext, we should probably also have Nasdaq Nordics, right? All right, so that's what I wanted to say. Now, why should you care about space? There are many good reasons. If you do a bit of trend spotting, what are the companies that get funded in Silicon Valley right now? So it's clear that if you want to find customers and start generating revenue, you can't just improve a little bit your customers' processes, make it a little bit more efficient. You need to completely eliminate parts of the process, make it a lot more efficient. You have to automate completely. That's what you can do with space. The second thing is that hardware is suddenly very attractive, especially the combination of having hardware and software as your proprietary product. And we can do this in Europe, right? We are very good at this. It's just that we are a little bit behind the US and the cultural aspects of building companies. But we can improve that as well. right? And the third thing is that space is so super strategic because you can see everything from space using different types of payloads. Instead of having 10,000 sensors on the ground, you can get all the weather data, climate data, air quality data. You can track ships. You can see through clouds. You can even see through camel nets, right? With the radar images. There are so many things you can do with space. So that's why we could completely automate things and create new services that we couldn't do on the ground. So you see why there is a huge business opportunity for Europe here, and especially to build a functioning ecosystem among the Nordic countries. So the European Commission will sign up for this if you are all committed to building this Nordic ecosystem. So thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you, Thomas. Are you awake?
Yeah.